Let's have some truth talk about anger. So, I pull cards for myself and for my clients, just one or two to kind of get a little bit of a feel for what the guides are trying to say through that medium. And in the last week, three of us have pulled this anger card. Let me show it to you. I pulled this card years ago. This is when I got this deck. I always used to feel shame and instantly got defensive. Oh, I'm not angry. When have I been angry? Oh, no, no, this couldn't be about me. And I would kind of go into a little bit of denial. I didn't like that part of myself at all. I know I have a temper. And after my spiritual awakening, I would say that I started feeling angry even more often. This is such a misunderstood spiritual emotion. In the two clients that I pulled this card for, both of them had the same reaction as I did. Uh-oh. Ugh, I don't like that part of myself. I don't want that to be about me. And isn't that very unspiritual to be angry? I mean, aren't we supposed to be all about love and light and. So here's my approach to anger these days. This is Anger is your spiritual ally. It comes in as your liberator. Anger is the impetus. It is the spiritual fire that you need to liberate the parts of yourself that are incredibly disempowered. We're talking maybe some deeply suppressed emotional energies, parts of your inner child that you have not up to this point even been able to touch or to integrate. When we have anger, this is our biggest red flag. This is the big sign post in the middle of your road that tells you stop and pay attention. It is the big red stop sign. If we can actually learn to use anger for what it's for, I believe that this spiritual energy is here to inform us, but because of our habits of mind and our egoic reactions to it, externalization of the anger, um, our belief systems that it's about somebody else, it's someone else's fault, it's them, it's this is a big form of victimhood consciousness that we are really locked into as a whole civilization. But what if we were able to understand our anger at a much higher vibrational level, a much deeper spiritual level, and actually reprogram ourselves to use this anger, to use this spiritual fire in ways that will benefit us, in ways that we can use to investigate ourselves, find out what part of me is so disempowered that it has fired up this big guardian. I do see anger as a warrior, as this mighty, grizzled warrior. And what is that warrior defending? Always, always, always in my sessions with people who feel anger, if we go into the anger and we truly feel it, we're always going to find what that warrior is defending. It's always a small child. It's always some part of us that feels so disempowered, that was so helpless to defend themselves, that now we have grown this out of control, guardian energy that may even actually feel like a big shadow aspect over this disempowered aspect, this hurt aspect of self. So, how do we do this? How do we change and alter that cycle of rage and destruction? Because anger can be so destructive. That's why it has such a bad rap. When we start to Hulk out, once that transformation begins, we don't have control. The Hulk doesn't have control. He loses his humanity. He loses his awareness, his consciousness, his love, and just Hulk smash. Now you're just smashing. And I personally, on a personal level, have felt a lot of shame about, smashing and crashing through people in my life that don't deserve that level of anger from me, because it's really not about them. It's really not about the situation at hand. The situation at hand and the person that you're with is just a trigger trying to bring you back to that disempowered moment where the origin of the hurt came from. We'll call this a quantum moment in time. So, how can we use anger to be our portal? We need an immediate portal back to that origination point where the hurt part of us is there, cowering in fear, helplessness. All right, so I do have a solution, and this is something I've been doing with myself, mostly in the context of my marriage, which um, any of you who have ever been partnered up with someone, you know very quickly that they can trigger you like no one else. They know the buttons to push. They've got the handbook. They are working the control panel of your trauma body like nobody else can. And it's probably what attracted you to them, okay? Because they have karmically plugged into all of your little wounds, and you guys are wounded together. So they're going to, or it could be a parent or a child or whoever, people at work, they're really plugged into your wounds and they're going to activate them. They're going to make you mad. They're going to trigger you. And this is a gift. You know, for the people that I've worked with that have had deep depression, if you are in a state where you're so depressed and those suppressed access or aspects of you, the suppressed aspects of you are so deep, you don't even have access to anger. So for anyone who's been deeply depressed, you know what a gift anger is, because that means that this part of you that's been suppressed is actually coming up for healing. They're actually crying out for help now. You have some action energy bringing up this disempowered part of you. It doesn't want to lay down and be depressed anymore. It wants healing. It wants action. That's what this anger is here for. So I'm going to be giving you sort of a little 5-step process. It's just the way that I work with myself and the way that I advise my clients to work with their angry side, to try to arrest the Hulk before the Hulk can fully emerge and redirect it back into yourself to be an investigator, be your own Sherlock Holmes of what it is you are healing and what that victimhood part of yourself is experiencing. Okay, so the first step here is notice that you're starting to Hulk out. Notice and become aware. I'm getting angry. I would say this is probably the hardest task, because what happens is we go unconscious, we go dark, and it just starts happening. And here we are, and it's just the pattern takes over. So you're going to create a new pattern of realizing that you are angry, that you're getting angry, that you're triggered. Maybe you're starting to boil up and bubble up. Maybe some resentments are bubbling up. Passive aggressive talk is also a form of anger. Maybe you're feeling a little bit sassy with a certain person, or you're starting to feel a little bit jealous, or whatever it is. So anger can kind of creep in, or it can come in as a lightning bolt. Start noticing this. And the more you see it as a gift, as a spiritual tool to get into yourself, the more you will become aware of it, because the consciousness likes to notice good things about itself. We start to go into denial about parts of ourselves that we don't like. So if you can put this on the good side of the force, change it from your Darth Vader to your Princess Leia or your Yoda. And when this anger starts to come in, I want you to see it as a force of good, not evil. This is going to require a little bit of reprogramming, but you can do it. So, step 1 is become aware. If you can become aware in the moment, you have already conquered so much of what is difficult about this. Okay, let's move on to step 2. So now you know you're triggered. Step 2 is get out of the situation that you're in. If you're talking to someone, you need to find a reason to excuse yourself. You can be perfectly honest and you can say, oh gosh, you know what? I'm starting to get angry. I've been working with myself about my anger. I need to go and do a 5-minute meditation. I need to do some breath work. Let's come back and talk about this when I'm not triggered. That would be what you could say to somebody who's on a healing path themselves or a very understanding or tolerant person. Now, if the person that you're with or people or the situation at hand is not one where you can be open and honest about that, you're going to need to make something up. I have no problem with little white lies. I have to go to the bathroom. Oh, you know what? I forgot to do something over here. Oh, I need to take this call, whatever it is. Get yourself out of there. And that was step 2, is just get out. Get by yourself. Go to your car, go to the bathroom, go to wherever it needs to be. You need to be alone with this, because if the triggering further happens, you'll get defensive. You'll start going into those old patterns because it's really not about the current argument. This current argument is just a portal into the past. Use it. Okay. Step 3, you're going to start talking to yourself. You are going to immediately acknowledge that this is not about the person you were with, the people that you were with. It's not about the situation that just happened. You need to acknowledge that you created this situation. You, your soul, even if you didn't consciously, but your higher self did it. You created this situation to take you to a part of yourself that needs help. The question to ask here that's going to help you a lot is, who's under here? Think of your anger as the big protective warrior energy. And that energy is guarding and protecting something underneath there. What's underneath there? It's some disempowered aspect of you, feeling like a victim from the past, a helpless aspect of you, probably from before the age of 7. So I want you to visualize this as a young child. Go into yourself and ask, who is in here? What are they feeling? Now, you may need to feel through some anger first. Feel it, feel it, feel it, because there is something under there. Usually, the person underneath there is feeling scared, sad, abandoned, rejected, ashamed. One of the 5 core wounds mixed with a fear of going there. Okay, so we're asking, who is under here and feeling. Okay, so the next thing that we're doing is really that feeling part of it. Now you can use tapping. I have a lot of different tapping videos, EFT tapping guide. That's really going to calm down your nervous system and allow you to get into yourself. Even if you just have one tap point you like to use. I like to use this one under the chest, under the collarbones, or the side of the hand. And sometimes I just go back and forth between these two, even if I don't want to tap all of the points, just having a couple of calming acupressure points to calm down your body, because you are triggered into a very, what do we call it? Like up-leveled limbic response when you're angry. This is a fear response of the body. And you want to calm yourself down as much as possible. Use some really deep breathing and connect with your inner child. You don't know what had to happen in the past to get you here, but you do need to feel that emotion. Feel it, let it through. Connect to the part of your body that is feeling it. And there is no magic key for doing this quickly. So let it take however much time it takes. The 5th step of this is to actually, as the adult consciousness, the one that has logic, the one who would have protected this child self in the past if you could have. Now you are the holder of the consciousness that can be parental for this part of yourself from the past. You are going to apologize and say that you're so sorry to this child aspect that felt this. I'm sorry this happened is all you need to say. Now, you're not taking responsibility for someone else's mistreatment of your inner child, but you are using all of the love of the universe. You are using and tapping into your light to come in and be the compassionate listener, the compassionate empathizer of your inner child, and saying, I'm so sorry you had to feel that. They need to feel seen, heard, and felt by you, the adult self. Sometimes our inner children can feel abandoned by us. So this is when we get really into it and we bring in that compassion. These are the opportunities for us to call in forgiveness. So we're going to call in forgiveness and love for the entire situation, both the one that happened today at the trigger point and all of the ones in the past related to this part of you. Calling that in through your hands, through your heart, through your third eye, and just imagining that your inner child is right here in your heart and they're receiving all of that love. Forgiveness energy is being given to all parties who were involved. Turning your anger into forgiveness, love, and compassion for yourself. That is the magic of the spiritual fire that anger can be in your life if we use it to its highest nature, to its truth, its true nature as a liberator. I hope that this video was helpful, and if it has been, let me know in the comments or leave a little like or share this with someone you love. All right. Thank you. Have a good day. I'll see you next time.